Nintendo, my personal favorite video game company. However, there are certain reasons why I don't like Nintendo, and they do make occasionally some really bad games. And I feel it's not really focused on that much because they make so much quality, the more lack of quality they put out. So that's what we're counting down today, the top 10 worst Nintendo games. Now, I am looking for games that Nintendo has either developed or published. So if you were expecting the Mario and Zelda CDI games, I almost actually put them on the list, but as it turns out, the only involvement that Nintendo had with them was licensing those IPs to Philips. They didn't develop or publish those games, so they got off the hook this time. Also, no easy targets. I considered including certain educational games, and I also considered including some mobile games, but those are too easy. I removed those easy targets. Anyways, let's get right into this. But before we do that, you know what to do. Be sure to like this video, subscribe, and turn on notifications, and leave a comment, and you'll be a loyal subscriber.
I wanted to give to you, the last part of your notes here, the significance spiritually of the number 10.
Look, weirdly enough, I've been hearing many defenders for Star Fox Zero come up lately, and if you're one of those people, more power to you, but my god, this hurt. I'm not even really a big Star Fox fan, but I was still really excited for this game, and fuck me. Why does Star Fox Zero make the list, you may ask? Well, for one, the story is pretty much a remake of Star Fox 64, which is a great game, but we already got a remake of that 5 years earlier. And the other reason is that the camera sucks ass. Trying to take the controls with the gamepad and how it moves this camera is so distracting and ruins the experience for me, from what I've heard a lot of other people. Star Fox Zero hurt more than most other games on this list, but it's only at number 10, though, because behind the ass controls, I do think there is a really good game here. I would honestly like to see this game ported to the Switch with the controls overhauled, and I think it can be better. But my god, this game sucks right now. Hey you, Pikachu! We all love Pikachu, right? I mean, how could you not? Look how cute he is. It's Pikachu. Well, what about the Nintendo 64? Remember that mic accessory? It was meant to be used in multiple games, but ended up only being used for one game, at least here in the States, and that is Hey You Pikachu. And I wonder why that is. What is Hey You Pikachu, you may ask? Well, it's a game where you talk to Pikachu and watch him do simple, everyday, mundane tasks. That's really it. Except it's not, because the mic accessory barely even works. This all makes the game so tedious and also somewhat unplayable due to the mic not fucking working at all. Not to mention the glitches. The glitches are fucking hilariously stupid. So the game is tedious, unplayable, and glitchy. Great. It was a cool idea and neat for the time, and if done today, it might have actually worked, but Hey You Pikachu was just a very bad game, and you should never play. Hey you! Stay away from this. The game, not this video. Subscribe if you haven't.
So I'm going to be giving this flavor 8.5 out of 10 scoops.
Remember on the NES where there were all those Disney games that Capcom developed and published? Well, on the GameCube, there was a Disney game developed by Capcom and published by Nintendo. Now that sounds good, and it's called Disney's Magical Mirror starring Mickey Mouse. And it sucked! Despite this actually having incredible potential, it was all squandered in almost every way, as it's really no more than just a generic point-and-click game. Not only that, it had graphics and sounds that were quite bad even for the GameCube, and it was paced incredibly slowly. Once again, having Disney licensed the game, Capcom developed the game, and Nintendo published the game, there was great potential here, but it was all squandered.
36.
Very close, but that's not it. Let's go to Gary the Retard. What number between 2 and 4?
I remember one specific time where it was quite hard to be a fan of Nintendo. I mean, I still love Nintendo no matter what. But I'm talking about that sort of midway period in 2015 till towards the end of 2016 when the Wii U was slowly getting to its deathbed. So if that's not bad enough, imagine 3 of the games on this list coming out within a month and a half of each other. One of those games was Mario Tennis Ultra Smash. Once the game actually came out, it was clear that Mario Tennis Ultra Smash was just rushed so Nintendo could have a game for the holiday, and it shows because the game is so low on content. 1 court, 1 minigame, online play but no tournaments. How does this become so bare bones? I'll say the game looks really good and the music is also pretty good and the gameplay is pretty good. Well, that is until you stumble across this stupid ass mushroom gimmick that interrupts the gameplay for a cutscene where you grow bigger. That's really annoying because it even does that when a CPU gets the mushroom. So you could be in the middle of a shot, but gets interrupted by a stupid fucking cutscene. If that's not enough, you can't even play with your friends online. Yeah, this was definitely nothing more than just a Nintendo game for the holiday. And I doubt it even did very well either.
Okay, Mrs. Puff, what's my final score?
6.
Woo!
Up until very recently, with the Let's Go games and Sword and Shield being on Switch, the Pokemon series has never really had a true installment on a home console, and whenever it did have anything on a home console, it was always a spin-off. And I've already talked about Hey You Pikachu, but it's now time to talk about Pokemon Channel. Should I even call Pokemon Channel a game? Well, I mean, it was a commercial release that ended up on a GameCube disc that cost money. So in that sense, it does, but what the fuck? What do you do in Pokemon Channel, you may ask? Well, you watch Pikachu watch other Pokemon do certain things on TV. Yeah. You do kind of interact with some of them, but I mean, kind of. You see, take Examination Hatch-Up. There is an egg, and you interact by selecting what Pokemon you think is in the egg. But then the egg can take up to 24 hours in real time to hatch. So that's fun. I really don't get who this game was for. Pokemon fans? I mean, why waste your money on this?
Oh, chills. Literal chills.
It was number 5. Number 5 is my brother.
Oh my god, I forgot about.
You know, there are many reasons Nintendo don't do many rated M games. One is that they aren't really too big and they sell poorly, even despite how good they might be. Games like Eternal Darkness or Geist, I'm sure you've never even heard of them, but they're rated M games Nintendo actually published and owns. But then you got Devil's Third. You can probably argue that maybe I shouldn't put Devil's Third on the list as it went through a troubled development switching publishers before Nintendo took it and farted it out on the Wii U, but they still looked at this game and published it. Devil's Third is an action-adventure hack-and-slash game, but when you play it, you really do see the rushed nature of the game as the gameplay feels unpolished and the graphics look unpolished as well. Not to mention many glitches as well as technical issues, and you got one hell of a stinker that Nintendo almost seemed to have published out of sympathy.
7, 5.
Remember when I was talking about Mario Tennis Ultra Smash and said there will be 2 more games that came out in that same month and a half range. Well, here's another with Chibi Roboz. I can't speak that name, I'm sorry. What is this? Why does this exist? I hate it when companies seem to not know what to do with a franchise and put out a game that is nothing at all what the franchise is known for being or what the fans want, and they hold the franchise hostage by forcing people to buy it, or else there won't be any more of those games. I hate that, and everything about Chibi Roboz Ziplash further exemplifies why. The original GameCube Chibi Robo was an action-adventure platformer, I guess, that many people wanted to see more of but didn't get, as we kept getting a bunch of other random weird spin-off games, and then we get a side-scroller. I'm sure if it was good at being a side-scroller, we would look at Ziplash at least a little differently, but nope, it's so generic and gets so boring and repetitive. The controls are way too convoluted with movement and gliding. Throw that in with the stupid ass wheel and you got a stupid ass game that unfortunately ended a nice ass series that Nintendo, had they handled it right, could have been even greater. Honestly, I feel the top three are interchangeable and juggled between them for the top spot. Anyways, 2 words. Wii Music. Wii fucking Music. Honestly, I think all I should do is just show you the game's reveal at E3, and that'll sum up the game, as the game turned out exactly like how it seemed when it was revealed. But this is my channel, where we explain things. Now in Wii Music, all you really do is shake your Wii remote and produce music. Sure, it's a rhythm game, so what else should I have expected? Well, I know the answer to that, because what I should have expected is more than just a bunch of royalty-free stock music that sounds like shit. They even butchered Twinkle Twinkle Little Star. It's Twinkle Twinkle Little fucking Star. How do you butcher that? Wii Sports is amazing. In some regards, Wii Sports Resort is even better. Wii Play Motion and Wii Play have their moments. Wii Party exists, but Wii Music, better off pretending it doesn't.
What kind of pencil do we take again?
Number 2. Take a number 2.
Looks like you took a big number 2.
Urban Champion. Genuine question, who actually likes this game? I'm not messing around. Please, if you genuinely like this game, without a joke, you seriously like this game, please let me know in the comments. Anyways, aside from whoever might be watching this and liking this game, I know someone who does, and it's someone from Nintendo, because this game has been re-released so many times. It even got a Nintendo eShop 3DS remake titled 3D Classics Urban Champion, and that's even worse, and that's what makes the list. First off, the title is a lie, because nobody ever considered Urban Champion a classic, except for that one person working at Nintendo, of course. Second off, reading the title before playing or seeing the game, I thought it was just a port of Urban Champion, but nope. It takes the 2D fighting style of Urban Champion and turns it into a 2.5D-ish fighter. The 3D models just look odd as well. The game is pretty much just as unfun as the original, but throws in the touch-ups they made, and now it's just a not fun experience at all. Again, I don't know who thought that Urban Champion is a classic, but I also doubt that person is still working at Nintendo. Animal Crossing Amiibo Festival. Yeah, I don't really know how to segue into this entry, so here is the worst Nintendo game. In retrospect, this game came out during probably the lowest point of the Animal Crossing franchise, the Wii U, and Nintendo, at least in recent memory, and it's clear to see why. Many people wanted a new Animal Crossing game for the Wii U, but we instead got a cheap Mario Party ripoff. It was developed by ND Cube, who developed the Mario Party games, mostly the bad Mario Party games, but this could have been a cool little Animal Crossing spin-off, but no, because it's so tedious. No joke, no exaggeration, no hyperbole. This might be one of the most tedious games I've ever fucking played. This game honestly makes Mario Party 9 and 10, which ND Cube worked on, look like a fucking blast. All you really do is scan an amiibo, roll a dice, press A, and run across tiles. Why would there be any mini games? Why would there be any, fun? There's no strategy to this game at all, unless you consider trying not to fall asleep or trying not to turn off the game and do something more interesting with your life, a strategy. There is no fun to be had here, and it only exists because someone at Nintendo wanted Animal Crossing Amiibos. I'm not even fucking joking. The whole point of this game was to sell Amiibos. And the more frustrating thing about that is two things. One, I fucking bought them. And two, as the Wii U was dying, this game nearly took Amiibos with it. When you really think about it, all of that is why Animal Crossing Amiibo Festival is the #1 worst Nintendo game of all time. But hey, this was a very tough list to make, So I want to know what you think. What are the worst Nintendo games? Anyways, yeah, be sure to like this video, come subscribe. This one went a bit longer than usual. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed it. Anyways, I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye-bye.